My audio might not be the best right now. I am moving between two cities. So I just moved to this new city for a few years now. And yeah, today I want to basically show you how the ID mapping works inside Public Connect and why it is important, right? So many times you might be using apps like Lead Connector or Kit, which is Convert Kit, right? Where you need to first create or update the subscriber, and then you have to pass the ID of that particular subscriber to the next step, like adding a tag to that subscriber, right? Now, most of the non-coder or non-technical user, when they hear about ID, they by default assume email address, right, or email ID. But that is not the case when you set up the automations. So let me just show you what exactly you need to do in this kind of situations, right? So for the reference, I will use newer builder version, right? And yeah, so this is a vbook as a trigger, and I have just captured like two things: name and email address. You can see it here. Now, in the next step, we are obviously creating or updating a contact by passing the full name and the email address. If you check the response received, you will see a lot of things, but the most important part here is the contact ID, right? Now, in GHL response, it is called contact ID. In some other app, it can be called only ID or customer ID or user ID or something like that as well, right? You need to identify that particular contact or subscriber ID from the response that you have received. And let's assume that now we want to apply a tag to this. Okay, now you will think that okay, we can directly apply the tag here. Why not just do that right now? But the issue is, if this contact already exists in GHL and you try to pass tags in the create or update contact action, it will replace the existing tags for that particular contact, and we don't want that. That's why we have to use lead connector and search for tag, add text to contact, and we save that. Now here you will see it's a drop down, right? It's not a dynamically mapping email address field. So your first thinking might be okay, let's just click on that, but that converts email address to something weird kind of contact ID, right? Now we don't have this ID coming in from webhook data. So how do we get this? As I said, you have to map it from the above steps that you have used for the same app. In this particular case, it is lead connector version to create or update a contact action. Then you can simply add the tag that you want, or you can map this dynamically as well. But yeah, first you have to click on this toggle map toggle button, and then you have to map the ID of that particular contact, subscriber, user, customer from the above steps, right? And then you have to click on save and send test request. Okay, it says it is successful. Let's try to refresh here. Taking little bit longer. Till that happens, let's try it second time with, instead of T1 we will use T2. And okay, yeah, this contact is now available, and tag is applied as well. I will hit enter to run another test. I also noticed Pabbly team has now started to send this message ID as a response part. I really like that. It was long due change from their side, and yeah, finally it has happened. Okay, so now if we check the history, you can see we have captured name and email. Then it created that particular contact in GHL, and you can see that it returned us the contact ID as well in the response. And that contact ID was actually dynamically mapped here. You can see this is that dynamic contact ID. I will just do EXD, starting with EXD, and same thing goes here as well. And that's how we apply the tag. If I go back one step, You can see T2 is now added as well, right? And tag is added as well. So this is how dynamic mapping of contact ID works for email marketing apps or some other apps as well, right? You need to map the ID which it requires. You do not need to map the email address in 99% of the apps. Okay, so how do you decide that? You can simply toggle on and off. Not sure why this is happening, but yeah, if let's say I remove this or refresh this, yeah, you can see when you go to here, you go here, it will show you a drop down. If it is a drop down, we need to map it dynamically. So as soon as you click on it, if it shows you ID in this format, that means you need to find similar kind of ID from the above step and map it here, right? So in our case, it will be coming from step 2, contact ID, and hit save, right? So yeah, I hope this video helps you. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, thank you.